This is Mars Today. Welcome back. We're on episode number 9. We're recording on June the 26th, 2026 at 23:51 Coordinated Mars time. Today's episode is titled Extinct City. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one, and let's get on with it. The image we're going to be looking at today is titled Layers Near Atlantis Chaos. The image acquisition date was May 30th, 2025, so this is a relatively recent image. It was acquired at 1529 local Mars time, and the area in question is south of the equator at a latitude of 29 degrees south by 182 degrees east. The image scale is roughly 50 centimeters per pixel. So what that means is when you're taking a measurement, now I work in both centimeters and feet, but I grew up with feet, so I tend to want to convert that. And when you're looking at high view and you use the high resolution image, the measurement or the distance tool used is done in pixels. So what you would do is you would take a measurement and say the measurement was 100 pixels. You would multiply that by the image scale of 50 centimeters per pixel, which would give you 5,000 centimeters, and then you can take that and convert it back into feet, or keep it in the metric system, or whatever works best with you. So the high resolution image is right here. Should you want to download it, it's the JP2 image. But right now we're just going to have a quick look at the JPEG image just to show you what we're going to be looking at and where we're going to be looking at. Okay, this one's a dual strip image, and the area in question that we're going to be looking at today is right over here. So let's open up that area. Okay, before we share our first image, I wanted to bring back something I shared in a previous video. It's a chart known as the Extinct City Survival Timeline, and I wanted you to look at a couple of key points in this timeline, specifically what an extinct city would look like after 100,000 and a million years, because this relates to the image I'm going to share. So after 100,000 years, the likely appearance from space, so a satellite image, what would a city look like? What you would see is ghost-like grids and symmetrical land patterns. Keep that in mind, and that's after 100,000 years of weathering and erosion. Now, what would it look like after a million years? Subtle, unnatural geometry and land modification. Also, keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at our first image. Here's our image. Let's do an analysis. Remember the two key points that I just mentioned previously. Okay, from a visual perspective, what are we looking at here? If you take a close look, you can notice a lattice grid-like layout, which looks highly artificial in nature. You can see there's a lot of erosion and a lot of weathering that has taken place, likely over 100,000 to a million years. We're going to take a bit of a close-up of this. I'm going to zoom down and we're going to sort of look around. When you're examining an image like this, you could spend actually quite a bit of time, doing your analysis. And once I'm done, I'm going to throw this into the Mars Image Analyzer and we'll see what it says about it. Okay, so let's have a look. First and foremost, I'm going to zoom down to an area right over here take a look. You can see something that could potentially be an artificial structure. I measured this one and it's about 30 feet across. You can see it's surrounded by some type of walled in or grid-like structure. It's hard to say for sure. Over here, look at this nice, neat rectangular shape. Clearly very artificial in nature. Let's move around a bit. Okay, down right in here, I see a circular type something that looks like it's surrounded by some type of wall. And we'll move a little bit further to the left. You can see this area, all this dark gray is sand. So this whole area has been wind blown and there's a lot of sand covering most of it, but you can still see the layout. It's an interesting layout. Okay, over here you see some more interesting patterns. I see some type of triangular formation. I see a lot of straight lines. I see a lot of 90-degree angles. Let's look right in this area here. Here I see something that looks like a half circle with something like a structure right here. I'm going to show you a nice U-shaped formation. You can see right up in here. Again, up in here, this looks like some type of possibly a building. Let's move down to the bottom right. I'm going to share another U-shaped formation. This one here is kind of striking. This is a U formation. Again, everything in here to me looks highly artificial in nature. Perhaps 1,000,000 years old, maybe longer. Let's just have a look. Again, right in here. Another interesting layout, or what's remaining of it. I see something right here with some very circular, domey like thing with a bit of a reflection and a shadow. This up in here. Everything in here looks artificial to me. Okay, let's throw this thing into the Mars Image Analyzer and see what it has to say. So let's throw this image into the Mars Image Analyzer and see what it has to say. Let's first open the image. Here we go. Okay, there's our image. I can zoom in and out on this. have the zoom tool right here, but we'll leave it at number 1. Okay, let's take a look at the grid pattern estimate tool right here. Let's check that off and let's take an analysis of what it has to say. Okay, you can see up here it's got a green square and it says potential for artificial structures, and you can see a little bit of a report that it put out here in the analysis report section. Let's see what it has to say. We're going to need our magnifier for that. Okay, selected grid pattern estimate. Horizontal line candidates 409, vertical line candidates 12, 45-degree diagonal candidates 295, estimated grid pattern score 100 out of 100, so that's really good. Grid interpretation, potential for artificial structures. Now let's come down here. Oh, we don't need to highlight that. Okay, down here it doesn't really tell you much. Let's move on to the next tool and we'll close that. Visual scene description. So this will sort of take a look at the entire image and print out a little report, a fairly easily readable report, and it'll appear in the analysis report box on the right side, and we'll have a look at that. So let's do that. Let's analyze the image. Okay, let's just close this and close this. And here's our report up in the top right corner. Let's have a look at that with the magnifier. And I'll just read it out. The image measures approximately 991 by 610 pixels and shows highly textured or rough terrain with moderate contrast. A small number of circular or crater-like features are visible. The image contains many square and rectangular candidates, which is what you would see in a grid-like area, suggesting noticeable geometric organization. Okay, that's really important. Suggesting noticeable geometric organization, which is a suggestion of artificiality. Many straight line segments are detected with repeated horizontal, vertical, or diagonal orientations. Estimated feature counts include 11 square candidates, 11 rectangle candidates, 11 triangle candidates, 3 circle crater candidates, and 4,917 straight line segments, which is a lot. The overall geometric organization score is 100 out of 100. Wow. Okay, overall the image shows high geometric organization, which was pointed out in the last tool, and should be visually inspected for structured patterning. Okay, so that's the report. I guess it's a quite interesting report. I'm gonna close that for now, and I'd like to hear your comments on what you think regarding this image in the comments section, and let's move on. So that's about it for today's episode. I hope you are all enjoying the content. We'll be back real soon with episode 10. Please leave your comments and please subscribe. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.